Good evening, YouTube. Kevin, Conicus Rax here. Monday evening. Just thought I'd do a quick update following the inaugural visit to Chester and the Knights of the Briar meeting. That is to the... I'll start this again. Good evening, YouTube. Kevin, Conicus Rax here, ably assisted by one of the cats. Just thought I'd do a quick hello, covering the trip to Chester and the inaugural meeting of the Knights of the Briar. Chester's a 4.5 to 5 hour drive for me, but I was determined to join in wherever I could. And I set off at just after 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. Got a couple of missed calls on the way up there, but I couldn't answer the phone on the motorway. Realised it would be either Mikey or Dan, Mikey O, or Pipe Smoker Wales as he was then known. He just changed his name to Smoky Dan. Anyway, Dan and Mikey were responsible for the concept of the Knights of the Briar. You're getting a lovely view of the back end of the cat there. And indeed for... say hello. And indeed for organising this first meet-up. So I arrived in Chester on a damp, grey Saturday. I don't know, must have been 11:30, 11:45. Made contact with the boys to find out that they had camped in the pub next to the hotel I had booked a bed in. So all I had to do was walk around the corner and find them on a wet and cold smoking veranda where they were already well into some Guinness and some pipes. Well, a bit more Guinness and some shared bowls of tobacco, and we started to walk into town to meet up with the fourth member of the crew, Paul from Liverpool. It's a YouTube version. He's not made his first video yet, but hopefully he will. And he came down from Liverpool with his wife, who was going to do some shopping, and we agreed to meet up in the Termius, I think that's how you pronounce it, cigar lounge. Well, this is an establishment of great joy. There's a wall of pipes, rays of tobacco, one lounge with a walking Cuban cigar humidor, another lounge with a bar and other cigars, and then a whiskey lounge where they're happy for you to smoke your pipe while you're sampling the wares. Well, we started off in the Cuban lounge, and Dan very generously decided to buy each of us a Cuban cigar. Mikey and Paul, I think it was their first. Definitely Mikey's first. I think it was probably Paul's first. And it was my first for a while. I haven't had a cigar very often in the last 12 to 18 months, and I think it must be at least 14-15 months ago that I last had a Cuban cigar. So we sat there, we chatted, we drank coffee, shared stories. Dan whipped away with his camera, so I'm fairly confident you'll get a video from him soon with some shots of the day itself. After we finished the cigars, we went into the whiskey lounge where pipes were pronounced, and piles of tobacco ended up in the middle of the table, and we just helped ourselves, sampling some rum from the shelves of the shop as we did so. Towards the end of the day, Paul left us to go and meet up with his wife, and the three of us exited the building just before closing. Shortly after that, Dan had to leave us too because he had family commitments, and Mikey and I were left to our own devices for a while. We decided food was a good idea because up till then we had consumed plenty of tobacco and a reasonable amount of Guinness and rum. So we decided we'd go out of town a little bit to find a pub where we could get some reasonable pub grub and also with some smoking facilities, which Mikey had scoped out the day before because he arrived 24 hours before the rest of us. And we got there to find that they don't do food. So we had a couple of pints and a couple of bowls, watched a football match, and then moved off again. And we ended up back in the same pub we started out in, where we had a meal together, a couple more jars, and a final smoke on that cold, blustery veranda before going our separate ways. I had a great time. It was really nice to meet up with Dan and Mikey and indeed Paul. Really nice just to sit around smoking and swapping tales, bits of history, bits of thoughts, a few jokes. Generosity of the community is well known, and it was a very enjoyable way of spending a Saturday. Sunday comes and I find my way back to the motorway and steadily drive back to Cornwall, being chased by high winds and rain most of the way, and I'm told snow in the north. And that was the bittersweet bit, because I got home to find out that their old Barney, my dog, had gone completely off legs on Saturday morning after I'd left, and my wife and my son had little choice but to do the decent thing by him. So I'm currently sat in a dogless house. Now, this is the first time in our 30 years of marriage that we haven't had a dog in the house. This is really very odd. You know, I can drop a biscuit on the floor and I have to pick it up myself. There's nobody pestering me for attention, apart from cats of course. They're a constant, so I'm just watching over the top of the camera. There's two cats shouting to come in from the porch, and one's whipping his tail around and the other one's trying to catch it. So there's going to be sparks there in a moment, so I shall have to go and deal with that. So there it was, a bittersweet weekend. Great to meet the guys. Looking forward to the next time we get an opportunity to meet up. Sad to miss Barney's going. Sad that he went at all, but sad not to be here. So that's it for now, guys. I'll catch up with you another time, and just in case you're wondering about the lack of housekeeping, I'm not actually smoking at the moment, so I have nothing to show you. Keep well, boys and girls, and I'll be back soon because it's December tomorrow, which means my Secret Santa can be opened sometime soon. Cheers, guys.